Hi guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Glossier products. We all know what this pink bag means. It means there's Glossier products here to unbox and try and let you guys know my opinions of. So I ordered the Phase 2 set, and I'm going to be trying out all three of the products and letting you guys know my honest opinions on them and if I would recommend that you purchase them. So if you want to see my first impressions and me trying them out and how I got them with this look right here, then please keep watching. And let's start out with the unboxing. Of course, it came with the classic Glossier tape across it. And then inside is the classic Glossier, 3 sentences. Skin first, makeup second, smile always. So that's just fresh. And the inside of the packaging is pink. And then inside that is this white box, which I'm going to try to get out. Okay. And this is really fancy. I wasn't expecting a box inside of the box. It's kind of a lot of packaging. But this is really nice too. It has the beautiful picture inside, and then of course the Glossier pink bubble wrap little bag. Also included were a couple of these like little postcards, the sticker sheet, and then another little postcard in an envelope. So that's about it. And this one actually says what comes in what I ordered. So I ordered the Phase 2 set, which I'm super excited about. So the Phase 2 set is 3 products. It's the Stretch Concealer, the Generation G, and the Boy Brow. So let's take them out. Okay, so first is the Boy Brow, and I selected the shade Brown. I was kind of not sure which shade to get, but blonde tends to be a little too fair for me usually, so I got Brown. And we'll definitely try this out on the brows. I'm super excited because Benefit Gimme Brow is my favorite brow product, but I'm looking for a new one because gotta change it up. Okay, and the next thing is the Generation G, which is the sheer matte lipstick, and I got the shade Like. So on the website, there's I think like 4 shades or something like that, and the one that everyone talks about is Cake, which is like their peachy shade, and I am just not a peach fan. So I went for Like because it's the kind of cool toned pink shade, and even the little sticker on the bottom is kind of cool toned pink. But it's like really dark berry shade, so I'll swatch on the back of my hand here, and it comes off super sheer. But as you can see, that's more of like a berry, not really a light cool toned pink, so I wasn't really expecting it to be that berry shaded. This is more of like a winter lip, I would say. I wouldn't necessarily wear this all the time. I don't know. So we'll try that out, see how it looks. And then finally is the Stretch Concealer, which I am most worried about working actually. I got the shade Light, but since there's only like 3 shades, I have a feeling that this isn't going to be an amazing match for me because a lot of times the lightest shade is a little too dark. And I tried this out and I think it will be okay, so I'm going to try it out under the eyes and on a couple of these blemishes I have today. So the texture feels really nice. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this will be great because everyone says it is, but who knows. Anyway, so that's everything that I got in the Phase 2 set and all the packaging. So let's get started trying everything out. So I started my makeup. I have my eye makeup on already and a little bit of base, and I'm just using a CC cream today because for the Glossier look, it's not really a full coverage foundation look is what you're going for when you're using these products. And I didn't order their skin tint and their full range of products, so I'm using just a different CC cream. But now I'm ready to go in and try out this concealer, and we'll see how it does. And then if the look doesn't come out good, I'll just add on a little more CC cream for a little more extra coverage all over. So I'm just going to use my finger with this because the little instruction postcard that they included says, use fingertips to blend into skin wherever you want flexible coverage, around the nose, on dark circles, or any areas with redness or blemishes. So I'm going to try out under the eye first. I'm just getting some on my middle finger here and dotting it under the eye, and then just trying to blend it in. We'll do one eye at a time so we can see how it covers the dark circles. So that's one quick coat under the eye, and it definitely did cover the dark circles a little bit. These ones definitely look more purple still on this side, and this is a little bit more skin colored. But I was expecting this to be really moisturizing, and it is. It's definitely a very creamy, wet feeling formula. And I'm going to see how it works with layering because I do like a little bit more full coverage under the eye, and especially in this inner corner here where you can tend to look really dark and tired if you don't cover it. So that's with the second layer, and I'm actually really happy with the color. I thought it was going to be too dark, and it's not. I think it works okay. It's like exactly probably my skin tone. So if you're any darker than me, this would be a great highlighting concealer. So let's try it actually on a couple spots here. I have 2 big zits for sure that I want to cover. This one and this one. And then I'm just going to take my beauty blender, which is what I use to apply my CC cream, and kind of blend it in lightly because I don't want to take away too much of the coverage. So I'm not sure that this covers all too well on these kind of like more raised blemishes that I have, but I don't know. We'll see how it looks in the end. So I'm going to go and do the other under eye, but this time I'm going to take this on my beauty blender just to try it out because I usually apply concealers with my beauty blender. So I'm loading some up on there, and then I'm going to press it under my eye this way, see if this works any different. So the beauty blender definitely didn't blend it in as flawlessly as my finger, so I'm going back over with my finger here, trying not to poke myself in the eye, and kind of just blending it in a little more. Okay, so I like the look of it so far under the eyes, but it was starting to crease a little bit on the eye that I did first, so I tapped that out a little bit. I think I'm definitely going to have to set it with some powder, but I want to add a little bit more coverage just all over the face, so I'm going to take another small dollop of the CC cream that I'm using and just kind of add it in areas where I want a little bit more coverage for today. Now that I have another layer of my CC cream on, I'm going to go back in with a little bit more of this concealer just to keep trying it, and I'm going to try it around the nose where I do tend to get some redness. I want to see if this separates throughout the day in those areas. It blends in really nicely to the skin. I think this would really probably work well if you had like no makeup on at all and you just wanted to dab it on. It's one of those. Okay, that's enough for the concealer. Now I'm going to try to set it with my Laura Mercier translucent powder and just see how that looks. Set down with powder, I think the concealer under the eyes looks really nice. I'm not sure if it's better or worse than any of my other concealers yet, but for now it looks pretty good. Now I've finished off the rest of my base. I've added bronzer, contour, blush, highlight, and my powder. So I'm ready to move on to brows and try out that boy brow. But first I just want to say that my under eye concealer is already creasing a little bit, which has me very worried. But it does look very like dewy and fresh, even though I set it with powder. So it's kind of a toss-up. I think that stretch concealer would be a good product if you like the more natural look and aren't going for a very like high coverage, more matte look under the eye. Anyways, let's move on to brows and try out this boy brow in the shade brown. So I always fill in my brows with a pencil first and then set with a product like this, but I want to get an idea of how dark the color is. So I'm just going to take it through my brows with nothing on them first, just to kind of see what it's like. Plus, I think this is one of those products that you could probably use on its own on days when you don't want to fill them in. So this brow has the boy brow through it, and this brow has nothing so far. So it is pretty dark, and I do like the color. I think brown was definitely the way to go. Blonde would have been too light for me. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to fill in the other brow with the boy brow, and then go back in with my pencil that I typically fill in with. So I filled in the brows a bit more with my pencil, and then I'm just going to lightly go back on top with a little bit more of the boy brow just to set them in place. And on an everyday basis, I would just fill them in with the pencil and then set them with this. I wouldn't do this first and then pencil and then this again. But like I said, I just wanted to see how dark the color was to get an idea before I went full hog with the pencil. So far I really like the boy brow. It definitely has a lot more of a wet formula as compared to the Benefit Gimme Brow, but I think that's going to kind of work to hold them in place better, but it does feel like it's not like as set down. I don't know if that's because I put too much on or if it's because they haven't had a second to dry, but I think they kind of feel like they would rub off and kind of rub across my face right now, but we'll see how they feel once they're a little bit more dry. And in the meantime, we'll move on to trying out the Generation G in the shade Like, which was the color that I thought I was going to love. So I'm going to stick this on top and see how it looks. So at first you can't really see anything. This is actually very close to my natural lip color. But once you kind of get a good full layer on there, it definitely is more deep than my natural lip color and much more of a berry shade. Like I said, this probably isn't a shade that I would wear every day. It's kind of coming off a little bit more hot pink or like winter berry than I would prefer to wear on a casual day. But I think it is kind of a nice look if you're going for a natural no makeup, you know, I just bit my lip or, you know, ate a bunch of blackberries or something. I don't know what look you're really going for, but that's about it for the makeup. I'm keeping it really like fairly light today, nothing too thick and nothing covering too much, just really like nice, natural, and dewy. So that's about it. And as for my first impressions of all the Glossier products, my first impression is that I like them. The boy brow especially, I think I will get daily use out of. The verdict's still out on the concealer. It is creasing a little bit. I'll check in with you guys later today just to see how everything's holding up. and see if this lip product's really going to be moisturizing or if it's going to dry out my lips or anything. But so far, first impressions is that everything looks very nice, and I think that you would absolutely love these products if you're going for a very natural makeup look. If you're a minimal makeup kind of person and you just like a little bit of coverage and, you know, kind of the light, more natural look and nothing too dramatic and made up, then I think you would love these products. They're really beautiful, and like I said, packaging was beautiful. Overall, the experience is great, and we all kind of love this like Glossier hype that's around these products. So far I would recommend them, but I'll check in with you a little later in the day to see how everything's holding up. Hey guys, so it's been about 6 hours since I first applied all the Glossier Phase 2 makeup items today, and I wanted to see how they wore throughout the day and be able to give you like my honest review of how they worked for me. And I personally have oily skin, so I think that the stretch concealer is just not for me. I think this would be ideal if you have dry, dehydrated skin, or maybe even more mature skin that's drier. I think this would be really nice. Under my eyes, it did crease. I'm wondering if you can see that. I'm not sure if the camera will focus, but I definitely got some creasing, and it just kind of made me look older than I am. It just settled into fine lines and creased. I haven't touched it up. Now I'm kind of rubbing away the creasing, and it looks better. So overall, I think the color match was really nice, which I was really happy about because I thought it was going to be too dark for me. And the texture is very nice, but it is very moisturizing consistency. So personally for me, I have oily skin, so that's just not ideal to mesh with my skin type because something super moisturizing isn't going to stay put on skin that's already oily and slipping around. But it did hold up well throughout the day. I was impressed with the longevity and the color. It didn't like, you know, start to separate and like look too dark or too light, you know, and oxidize throughout the day. It just kind of stayed true to its original color, and did kind of hold up. Other than the creasing issue, I think it did look very beautiful under the eyes. And I applied it on these two spots here, and they peeked through during the day. I wasn't super impressed with how it covered those. I think because it is such a wet formula, it's not really good for kind of these raised, more like angry blemishes, like maybe for any discoloration you have. If you have dry skin and you have redness that you want to cover, I imagine this would be really nice on that. But for me, for oily blemishes, it just wasn't an amazing concealer to cover that. Okay, and then moving on to the brow product, I can really see myself using this every day. I'm not sure I saw a huge difference between this and other brow gels I've tried, but I'm comparing it most closely to the Benefit Gimme Brow, which kind of makes the same promises about wanting to beef up your brows and hold them in place at the same time. And I think this product definitely did that. I think it gave a beautiful look to my brows. It held them in place pretty well, and I think it was great, but I'm just not sure for the price and how you have to get it shipped, if it's worth it and if I'll repurchase it. But I'm going to keep trying it because I do really like it, so I think this will be a staple in my routine. It's just hard to tell after one day if this is like exponentially more amazing than my like current staple favorite brow product. But this probably was my favorite item in the kit, and if I was going to recommend one product for oily skin girls, it would be this. And finally, the Generation G. So I kind of had high hopes for this lip product. And I'll tell you this packaging is just so satisfying. I don't know why. I think it's because it looks like, I don't know, like a little cigarette or something. It's very thin, very minimalist, and there's just something satisfying about it, even though it is just white plastic. Like, it's not super luxurious or anything. It's just something satisfying about it, and I don't know what it is. But this product is drier than I thought it was going to be. I think they could take some of the moisture from the concealer and put it in the lip product. But this was, I think, supposed to be a like more matte lipstick. It wasn't promising to moisturize or anything. That's what their Balm.com is for. But I did like the color. When I was first applying it and I looked at it on camera, it did look very bright pink and more berry shade. But then when I like kind of went into the other rooms of the house and looked in the mirror, it did look more natural and kind of like a light wash of color. And it was really pretty. I thought this was a beautiful color, just not what I was expecting, which was a little disappointing. But it is still a beautiful color. I'll definitely keep using it, but I was kind of disappointed in the longevity of this as well. I applied it several times throughout the day, but I would put it on and then it would just kind of disappear, and it didn't like super dry out my lips, but it didn't keep it moisturized. It didn't fade unevenly or anything like that. It was just kind of a light wash of color that, you know, didn't stay too long and didn't do too much, but it was absolutely beautiful when it was on. So this, I think you could get similar products from the drugstore. One that I have is this, and this is the L'Oreal Nude Balm in the color Heavenly Berry. And this is like a similar shade to me. I'll show them side by side and then I'll swatch them both. They look a lot different. This looks a lot brighter, but this really just gives you like a sheer, more moisturizing berry shade if you build it up. and then this one gives you a more dry berry shade. And they're not like entirely similar if you see on the swatches here, but I think comparable enough. I'm sure there's another shade in these nude bombs that's a little darker that could be a dupe for this exact color. But in terms of like the look I'm going for, when I'm using something like this, I think these products are kind of in the same range of I'm looking for a light wash of color, something really, you know, subtle and not too much. That's what both of these products I think do for me. So if you want to do something drugstore, I would just recommend something like this, you know, a more of a tinted balm. But if you want a matte lip that is very subtle, then I think the Generation G is the way to go. So those are my honest reviews of the products throughout the day. And by the way, ignore my hair. My 4-year-old nieces were brushing it and trying to braid it themselves, so I don't know what happened to it, but it's looking like a hot mess. Anyway, I hope you guys appreciated my honest feedback on these products, and something about them just really is like captivating. I don't know what it is about Glossier. They like draw you in. The branding of it's just really beautiful. So I've already placed another order. I ordered 2 bomb.coms and their classic, you know, blogger Glossier sweatshirt. I just felt like I need to have it. I don't know why. They sucked me in. I don't know how. I don't know why. And that's it for this review of the Phase 2 set of the Glossier products, the Stretch Concealer, the Boy Brow, and the Generation G. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing how I applied these products and how they wore throughout the day, and my honest opinions on if I would recommend them or not. So if you want to stay tuned for more videos, I upload every Monday and Thursday, so please subscribe so you don't miss another video, and thank you so much for watching.